Hoodie Nation. Salute. We're back. Yo, first of all, let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, I am wearing the MJ outfit today. No special occasion. I'm just wearing it because, why not? So I got some things to talk to you guys about. First of all, it's 2000 and no, let's not start there. I've not been streaming because I was on vacation. I was at my hometown for winter break. And I go to my hometown every winter and summer break. For summer break, I'll record for y'all, but for winter break, I ain't even gonna hold. That's my break, bro. All right, Christmas has passed, bro. In the comment section below, let me know what y'all got for Christmas, bro. I got a monitor for my videos and streaming, so that's super helpful. Thank you, guys. I got a new mouse. I got new kicks. I got this Michael Jackson outfit, and I got some new hoodies and stuff like those. So, damn, my head hurts. I'm not gonna lie. I just got out of a plane like 6 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 7 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago. So I'm tired, but we're still doing the streaming thing because I haven't done this stream in a minute. Speaking of streams, it is 2026, y'all. Speaking of streaming, it's 2026. 2026 is my year. And I don't care about what anybody says to me. And my nose just started running. Wow, that's super embarrassing. Okay. Weather change possible? Let me go grab some tissue, bro. Wow, okay. Can y'all see? Alright. 2026 is my year, and I don't care what anybody says. For this streaming stuff, 2026 is my year. Shout out ISO Speed next year, but this year, bro, I'm winning it all, bro. This year, I'm winning it all. Streamer of the Year award, upcoming Streamer of the Year award. What you name it, bro. Sports Creator of the Year. Shout out Flight, but your time is over. Nah, on a more humble note, though, bro. I'm just trying to grow my community, bro. I just want this community to be grown, bro. I just want this to be a fun community, bro. So, go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch, bro. Follow the Twitch. Subscribe to YouTube, bro. Follow TikTok, bro. I got a Discord server coming out, bro. Soon. I don't know when I'm gonna finish it, but soon. So yeah, that's my plans for 2026. Is just to grow as a community, bro. Get known, bro. The 2026 gotta be Hoodie Trey's new year, bro. The Hoodie Trey, bro. The Hoodie Trey. All right. So, ow, these gloves are hurting me, bro. I'm not gonna hold, bro. And stuff like those. All right, we reacted to High Roller today. I would keep the gloves on, but they're low-key hurting. I'm gonna put them back on later, though. Like I said, follow the Twitch link in the description, though, bro. And shout out JxmyHighroller. We got the NBA needs to fix this problem. Let's go. Chet Holmgren is closer to Mason Plumlee than he is to Wembanyama. This Mason Plumlee is the worst NBA player of a generational lifetime. I am going to be honest with you. There is no center besides Joel Embiid that I hate the most, which is Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee, there's nothing Mason Plumlee can do on the floor. Absolutely nothing. Name one thing Mason Plumlee is even a good averagely at. Even average at. Nothing. You can't name nothing. He doesn't even know what hand he wants to shoot with. That's how bad he is. And I'm so glad that dude's not in the NBA no more. That I got to watch horrific Mason Plumlee, bro. Him, Drew Eubanks, and Joel Embiid are the worst centers I've ever seen in my lifetime. Let me move my camera, bro. Let me move my face cam, bro. Wow, the NBA has been so much fun all around. James Harden subplot. Carmelo Anthony legacy got nothing. Jokic took his number in Denver. Harden snatched his top 10 scoring spot. KD took his greatest Olympian title. Braun took his rookie of the year. LaMelo took his nickname. Brunson took his city. Now, there's one thing that we're not going to do. We're not going to disrespect Carmelo Anthony on this account. Not the murderer, the NBA player. We're not going to disrespect Carmelo Anthony on this account. That's one thing we're not going to do. Hoodie Nation, as a community, we're not going to disrespect Carmelo Anthony at all. I don't care what you say. Any Carmelo Anthony slander, that's tough. You're banned. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. We're not disrespecting Melo, man. We're not disrespecting Melo, man. I'm not even going to hold, bro. I ain't going to hold, bro. We're not disrespecting Melo, man. I ain't even going to hold, though, bro. Alright, AD is better than Giannis all time. Argue with a wall. SGA and the ref every game. What did Paul George do to possibly deserve this? Is more evil than Homelander. I thought Homelander was a hero. What the heck?
Y'all got beef? I'm like, beef? Yeah. Like, we're out there competing, but beef.
Kevin Love.
Kenyon Martin Sr. names all power forwards better than Draymond Green.
Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Al Jefferson, Drew Gooden, Josh Smith, Tim Thomas, Antoine Walker, Lamar Odom, Jason Williams, Horace Grant, Otis Thorpe.
The NBA season is in full swing, and it's about that time. We've got a new batch of hot takes to look at today. The good ones, the bad ones, and the downright atrocious.
Alright, so we're looking at takes today. Alright, cool.
Today's video is sponsored by Factor 75.
That's a good one.
Factor is
It's
a
either
gourmet,
CE
never
or,
framed, profess 75 ingredients, focusing on nutrient-dense foods that support lasting energy, strength, and overall wellness. Their plans include high protein and calorie-smart to GLP-1 support it takes to pick. Your boy is ready to be 50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. That's code HighRollerFB50.
Yo, when I try to do 2x zoom, bro,
to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. A good time to look back on a great year of basketball, fond memories and bright futures. But instead, we're gonna do the exact opposite and dive into some of the hottest NBA takes the internet has to offer. Beginning with this one that said,
forget the 2017 Warriors. The Cavs team that lost to them are sweeping Oklahoma City, and it's not even close. Okay. Okay. How y'all feel about that?
2017 Cavaliers beat this year's Thunder. And this take just falls under the umbrella of X team from the past beats this year's Thunder, which is also just a subcategory of X player from the past is better than current SGA. The worst discourse in all of basketball at the moment. First it was the Thunder aren't as good as the 2017 Warriors, then it was they aren't better than the 2015 Warriors, and now they aren't better than the 2017 Cavaliers. I saw someone say the Thunder wouldn't even beat the 2013 Pacers. What? Can we just give it a rest? I knew one day fans of 2010s basketball would eventually become the unks that downplay the pedigree of future players and teams, but I didn't think it would happen this soon. We are now the 90s old heads we used to despise. How quickly we went from the Thunder are too inexperienced, to the regular season doesn't matter if you can't get it done in the playoffs, to, well, they won, but they barely squeaked it out over a mid-Pacers team. What exactly do the Thunder have to do to be taken seriously? Not only are they a great team, they do all the things we want great teams to do. They're homegrown, they play awesome defense, they're tough and physical, team-oriented ball, they don't rely on threes, they're deep, well-coached, composed. What other tests do they need to pass? I don't know who would win a matchup between the 2017 Cavs and this year's Thunder. That Cavs team was really good, and they did win one game in the finals.
That's really the only reason why people hate the Thunder is because of Shea. They claim he's a flopper, which honestly I agree with. He does flop at times, but they also say the team's corny, like Jalen Williams, and they say Shea's corny with his aura farming, and Chet's corny trying to act, I guess, hood, whatever that means. Hartenstein's corny. Hartenstein, come back to New York, bro. No hate on Caruso though. No hate on the white boys though. Interesting. I mean, yeah. I mean, it gets to a point where people started hating on Isaiah Joe. I'm like, bro, what? Why are you hating on Isaiah Joe? I mean,
the greatest team of all time. But I do know that the Thunder have one of, if not the best defense in NBA history. They're 10 players deep, they have the reigning MVP, and they won an NBA championship. To say the 2017 Cavaliers would give the best team in the league today belt to ass is also saying the 2017 Cavaliers are far better than any team in the NBA today. And I just don't buy that. I remember at the time how people felt about that Cavs team, how they had many flaws, had an easy run to the finals, and were carried by LeBron. And as much as I wish it were true, prime LeBron does not conquer all. We have plenty of evidence for this. But this is just the way things go.
Look at
People
Melo,
fall
man.
in love with a certain era, usually the one they grew up with, then in an attempt to preserve those memories, either completely rewrite or exaggerate what happened and tear down the new guys in the process. Do you know how many James Harden apologists have surfaced recently, praising his prime years and how unstoppable he was? And
Prime Harden is better than D-Wade. How y'all feel about actually, I think I do have Harden over Wade. Disrespectfully, James Harden has the best prime of all time in second. What? Okay, I'm not even reading this.
I agree, but
I
these are
ain't
the
gonna hold,
same
bro.
people that hated his game when it was happening, called him an unethical, foul-baiting playoff choker. The only difference between being hated and being loved is time. At the time, you know what people said when the 73-win Warriors lost the championship in 2016? That they were frauds. It ain't worth a thing if it don't got that ring. As if because they lost in the finals, everything they did that season was in vain. Fast forward 10 years, and people are now using the 2016 Warriors as the gold standard of excellence. But the Thunder have it even worse. Not only did they win a championship, they've come into this season with one of the most dominant stretches in NBA history, and they are still being discredited in the most creative, disingenuous ways imaginable. And in 10 years, I cannot wait to hear people say how incredible and historic and great the 2025 Thunder were, despite saying none of those things right now. We must refrain from becoming the thing we despised and give credit where credit is due. I do not like the Thunder's antics just as much as the next guy, but it is okay to admit that they are a great team who could probably go toe-to-toe with just about any team in NBA history.
with that.
Now our next take says James Harden is more influential than Steph Curry. And as blasphemous as this may sound, there is some truth here. Steph may have
I
single-handedly
mean, I see
changed
where
the
he's
course of
coming
NBA.
from like all the baiting and stuff. But honestly, bro, Kobe, D-Wade, bro, they was foul baiting way harder than Harden, bro. I'm even gonna hold, bro, before Harden even started baiting. Like, bro.
History more than any other player. On a macro scale, Curry caused a shift in the entire timeline of basketball. But
I still think Curry's way more influential, bro.
on a micro scale, when you look around the league and the archetype of players we see today, you're more likely to see influences of James Harden, for better or for worse. The step backs, the physicality, the crafty downhill scoring, the ball-dominant combo guards, the ways in which players
I
get
don't
their
think
points,
that's Harden.
the foul baiting. In a perfect world, everyone would emulate what Steph does. But it's not a perfect world, and there's no one else on the planet who can do what Steph does. Harden's game, on the other hand, is replicable for a lot of players, and it's effective enough to convert those players into Harden's successors. And this is probably where the natural course of the game was going to inevitably lead, but it was Harden who really perfected this ISO-heavy, change-of-pace, triple-threat style of play that we see littered throughout the NBA today. In fact, it's such a popular style that it has become essentially the default for most elite guards. Even from a historical perspective, Harden is one of a handful of players that changed the actual rules of the game and continues to have his tactics used by the league's best players. But Steph Curry is a singularity. He didn't just change the way players play the game, he changed the game itself. Not just with his three-point shooting, but with his emphasis on off-ball movement, his gravity from 35 feet out, and his demonstration as a smaller guard being the best player on a championship-winning team. And his influence will be felt long after he retires. James Harden did change the game, but Steph Curry may be the biggest game changer in basketball history. Now, this next take comes from Nick Wright, and it's an approach on the GOAT debate that I've never heard of before.
So I have a theory. If Jordan never existed and the universally accepted greatest player of all time was Kareem, because that's who it would have been, a guy like Tim Duncan would be in the GOAT debate. What people turned the GOAT debate into was not who's the greatest player ever, it's who reminds me of Michael Jordan the most, which is why Kobe is probably a touch historically overrated, because he is the most similar to Michael Jordan.
Right.
But because Mike was considered the GOAT, people elevated Kobe past a guy like Tim Duncan, who was just objectively better than him. Instead of the question being, who's the greatest basketball player of all time, people asked that question, but what they were really asking is, who's the most similar to Michael Jordan? And those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Nick is 100% right here. Michael Jordan was such an overwhelmingly dominant and popular player that once it was established that he was the GOAT, the goalpost shifted to who is the closest thing to Jordan competition. Even things like what the greatest player should look like or what their role on the court should be changed because of Jordan. MJ was many things, but first and foremost, he was a scorer, and so scoring became the overwhelmingly largest indicator of greatness. How a player moves, Jordan was graceful and explosive, and so the next guy must also move like a cat and jump out of the gym. It wasn't who's the next great player, it was literally who's the next Michael Jordan. And of course that player was Kobe Bryant. Many fans will even use the logic of if MJ's the GOAT and Kobe's the closest thing to MJ, then he must be the second greatest player of all time. And although I have Kobe higher all time than a lot of fans, I do think this approach has plagued and hurt these conversations for decades now. Despite Tim Duncan's incredible impact throughout his career, the fact that he looked, acted, and played nothing like MJ certainly did not help his GOAT case. I think we're seeing this same issue with Nikola Jokic right now. Because his game isn't super flashy, he doesn't play above the rim, and he doesn't look like an ultra-elite, world-breaking basketball player, some fans just dismiss the fact that he is one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. When Jordan retired, he wasn't just the GOAT, he was the blueprint, and if you weren't built from the same design, you were inherently penalized for it. However, as time goes along and the average basketball fan becomes removed from the days of MJ's cultural gravity, I do think we are moving away from this way of thinking. Impact and greatness comes in many different shapes and forms. And although Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, you don't have to resemble him or his game to be in that conversation. This is a great take. Now our last take comes from a disgruntled NBA viewer who says late game fouling has ruined the end of games. And I could not agree more.
That's facts. That is facts. I hate it. I hate it. But at the same time, it be working. It do be working. At the same time, bro. So I mean, can you really change up tactics that actually like it be working? Like it's unwatchable. Right? But it be working though. But at the same time, it's unwatchable though. But it be working. Let it be working. Let's just see what Jimmy says.
The end of tight games these days is a special kind of torture. They say time travel isn't possible, but NBA teams manage to turn 30 seconds into 20 freaking minutes. And the worst part is, the only time this strategy is used is during good, close games, absolutely butchering all the excitement of the moment. In the OKC Spurs matchup a couple weeks ago, the last 10 seconds of game time lasted nearly 12 minutes. This was a great game for 46 minutes with what could have been an exciting ending, pissed away with timeouts, commercial breaks, and free throws. And right when you think the bid is up and teams are gonna stop intentionally fouling each other and let the clock run out, they inexplicably foul again, and now you're stuck watching another Wingstop ad. Look at the play-by-play of the final 25 seconds of this game. What have they done to the game I love? 20 fouls, 24 subs, and not a single lead change to show for it.
Dang.
Intentionally fouling late in games has always been a thing, but it wasn't until fairly recently when teams started regularly fouling while up 3, attempting to preserve their lead. So now instead of one team fouling and the other team trying to avoid it by...
I don't mind them changing. I absolutely despise that, bro. I don't mind them changing up that. I ain't even gonna hold, bro.
Playing sound, disciplined defense, both teams are out there just chasing each other around getting fouls. Now, this shouldn't be a hot take, at least I don't think it should, but there are still a lot of fans who believe this is a legitimate strategy that shouldn't take a backseat to our viewing experience. That the priority of these teams is to win, not consider how entertaining it is for those watching. And this is a legitimate strategy, and I do agree to an extent. But that extent came and went a long time ago. Winning has always been a priority in the NBA, and that has never stopped the end of games from being entertaining before. A lot of people don't think this is a problem that needs to be fixed. But if you're really trying to fix this issue, some plausible solutions may be once the clock reaches a certain point, say 1 minute left, the team getting fouled gets one free throw and possession. Another suggestion some fans have made is 3 free throws on any intentional fouls committed beyond the 3-point line within the final minute of game time. But virtually every possible solution offered up inherently penalizes the team with the lead, so it doesn't look like this strategy will be going anywhere anytime soon. You don't see this tactic play out in every close game, but when you do, get comfortable, buddy, because you're about to witness a 30-minute ad break with some occasional free throws. This is a great take. But let me know what you think. Share your hot takes in the comments below. And as always, the hotter, the better.
Shout out, Mr. High Roller, Jimmy High Roller. Another great video, bro. Another great video. Yeah, honestly, I agree with all of these takes. The way you broke them down made me agree with it. So even if some I was skeptical with, I ended up agreeing with it. So shout out High Roller, man.